Okay, we just had some economic data out. Bitcoin loved the economic data. We are creeping back towards 58,000 and it feels like people are extremely bullish on Bitcoin again. The one token though that people are not extremely bullish on is Ethereum. And I mean, I've been reading tweets like this on Ethereum. I hate ETH, what a garbage coin. This one says, it says in MIT review technology, it says, if you're so smart, why aren't you rich? Turns out because you own Ethereum. Tell you one thing, I've been in ETH since 2015, just after the ICO. I think I started buying my first ETH at around $6 or $7. And I can tell you that I think that ETH may be dead. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. One token that's not dead though, definitely not dead, or at least not dead today, is XRP. As you can see, XRP's had an amazing day. And the reason why XRP's had an amazing day is because the SEC finally ended their case with XRP, with Ripple, and Ripple had to pay $125 million. That's it, only $125 million. Now the big question is, with all the XRP FUD out the way and all the lawsuits out the way, is it time to actually finally be buying XRP? We're going to talk about that too, and I'm going to show you one other altcoin ecosystem that I think that no one is seeing. We were going to talk about it yesterday, but then YouTube rugged our show. Absolutely fucking rugged our show. So we're not going to let them do it again. Let's get this show going, guys. Let me know in the chat if you were on the show yesterday that got rugged. And also, if you were on the show yesterday that got rugged, go to my Twitter and put in your Solana address, because yesterday I was going to give you a demo of 𝗕𝗓𝗓, and I didn't manage to do it because YouTube rugged our show. It's every time we talk about 𝗪𝗦, they rug our show. So let's see over where is that tweet, because we wrote that tweet together. We said, yeah, if you're watching my show live, you will be filthy rich. Please drop your Solana address. Please go and drop your Solana address into that tweet so we can actually do the demo for you guys today. All right, cool. But guys, before we start the show, I know a lot of you love the show. If you love the show, first of all, smash the like button. Also, if you love the show, you need to know that the reason why the shows are so good is not because I'm so good. It's because we have an amazing team of researchers. They actually make the show possible. And the reality is that these are the guys that are absolutely obsessed with crypto. They spend 24/7 surfing Twitter groups, Discord groups, and they look for alpha all day long. And they help us to compile the information that we use to drive this content and to compile the information that we use to make investment decisions. Now, I'm looking for researchers to join us here. So if you've been in crypto for at least 2 years, please don't apply if you haven't been in crypto for at least 2 years. If you are always on Twitter and you want to go full-time into crypto and you can analyze certain platforms, then please apply to be one of my researchers. I need a whole lot more researchers. We are growing the team. And as I said, it's the reason why our shows are so good is because the researchers are so good. So if you want to apply, basically what you need to do is you need to go to this thing over here. There's a researchers, crypto researchers wanted. When you click here, you're going to get a form, and the form is a test. That's to see if you have what it takes. Now, don't go and chat GPT the answers, because the next step is you're going to go into an interview with either Fred or one of the HR guys, and they're going to ask you much tougher questions. And if you cheated on the questionnaire, then you're going to be caught out. But if you do want to go full-time into crypto, I reckon that's probably one of the best places to be. You surrounding yourselves by the best alpha in the entire crypto game. Anyway, listen, speaking of alpha in the crypto game, you want alpha, smash the like button. The more you like, the more alpha I give. Yesterday our stream got cut off, so today we've got to do lots of work. We've got to get through pretty much double show today in half the time. So let's not waste any more time. What you can see is that there is calm on the markets. This week was a very tough week, but you can see that it seems like we're out of it. It seems like Japan was up again. In fact, look at the Japan market, up 3% again today. The NASDAQ is opening 1.57% positive today. Why? Because we got the job numbers. And the job numbers showed that effectively more people have jobs, less people are unemployed, which is exactly what the Fed wants before they can start reducing interest rates. The NASDAQ seems to be doing good. Bitcoin seems to be doing good, creeping back into that range over here, forming a beautiful bullish pattern. you can see this is a very much a bullish pattern over here, bullish consolidation pattern here, and you can, let's just escape there. So this little pattern over here, very, very, very bullish pattern. So Bitcoin is moving. As a result, of course, the altcoins are moving. If you look at the specific altcoins which are moving, XRP up 20%. Why is XRP up 20%? Well, because the judge ordered Ripple to pay $125 million in civil penalties. And that's it. That's the end of the XRP, Ripple, and SEC case. And now it's basically clear blue skies for XRP to go to the moon. And later on, I'm going to talk to you about whether or not I am going to be buying XRP. Let me know in the comments what you think I'll be doing. The other tokens that I saw up, SUI up 6.17%, TAO up 5.6%. These guys are up because Grayscale made a trust. You know, Grayscale is the same company that made the GBTC trust and the ETH trust. They made a trust for TAO and they made a trust for SUI, and that obviously leads to more buying pressure, specifically from institutions. And so that is why those two guys are up. And just generally, it seems like we had a tough week, but the markets are looking much better. That's basically the way that I read it, is we had a tough week. 250,000 traders were liquidated, 1 billion in liquidations, largest decline since FTX. As this person says, it's Castillo Trading, he says, it's probably a great time to bid. And you know who has been bidding? Well, I'll tell you who has been bidding. It's the institutions. If you look at the data shows us that the Coinbase premium, which is the amount that people pay extra on Coinbase to buy coins, is green again. Now, what does that mean? It means that there's a lot of buying in the United States. Who's doing the buying in the United States? Well, effectively, the funds and the whales are all doing the buying in the United States. You can see that while we got liquidated, Bitcoin futures, long-term Bitcoin holders were buying. They've been adding. So funds, institutions, long-term holders on Bitcoin are buying. You can see it. You can see it here in the on-chain wallet data. And to be honest, it seems, again, like I said earlier this week, it's quite tough to be bearish right now. I mean, they've put a band-aid on the Japanese cash and carry trade. That's not going to reverse anymore. Bitcoin's had a massive corrections. Funding rates have reset. Sentiment towards ETH, all-time low. We're going to talk about ETH because ETH is dead. It is time to get out of ETH. The business cycle is bottoming. You can see that. The Fed probably expected now to cut rate cuts in September. Let's quickly just go and see how big the rate cuts in September are actually going to be. Is it going to be one rate cut or two? Looks like at this stage of the game, still two rate cuts. But you can see that it keeps moving. Yesterday it was 68%. Now it's 59%. I reckon we look at this next week. Next week, we got inflation. Got to be careful. Next week there's the inflation. On the 14th of August, we have inflation numbers. Inflation numbers can change everything. But for now, I kind of see 100% chance of a rate cut in September. I want to say that there's only going to be a 0.25 basis point rate hikes in September. If I'm wrong, please cut this part out and meme it. If I'm right, please cut this part out and meme it and just make me into a meme. That's basically, I know they're going to do it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So hard to be bearish. Also hard to be bearish when you read this tweet from Tom Dunleavy. He says, massive fiscal stimulus incoming just in time for the election. Surprisingly, the Treasury announced 50 billion purchases across nominal and inflation-protected bonds, 8.5 billion in August, 31.5 billion in September, 10 billion in October. Effectively, what this means is that the Fed is buying back treasuries. Sorry, the Treasury is buying back treasuries, and that is putting more money into the economy and more money into circulation. Surprise, surprise, just ahead of the election. So super hard to be bearish when this is all happening. The one thing that does actually make me bearish, is this. This is really making me bearish. Like, honestly, what the hell are Americans thinking? This is the poly markets, prediction markets. And Trump was at one point up 65% chance of winning the elections. I was going to say the Olympics. Trump's got no chance of winning the Olympics. But now Kamala Harris has overtaken him on poly markets. Now, the reason why this worries me is because poly markets is a very right-wing. It's a crypto product. And even in the crypto product, people are now believing that Kamala Harris is going to win. I tweeted earlier and I said, look, the reality is if Americans vote for Kamala Harris in the next elections, well, then they deserve whatever they get in the next upcoming 4 years. If you've been around for the last 4 years and you've seen, you've seen effectively how good Kamala Harris is, and if you still vote for Kamala Harris, then to be honest, like, we can't help you. Like, then it's like, you want to inflict pain on yourself, then like you really, really can't be helped. That's the one thing that makes me really, really bearish. So other than that, I'm fully bullish. The one thing that I'm bearish on is this chart over here, this Kamala Harris Trump chart. Very, very, very bearish on this chart. If she keeps accelerating, I feel really sorry for Americans. I feel also really sorry for crypto holders in the United States. So that is things that I'm bullish about and things that the market is bullish about. The market definitely bullish about Bitcoin. But there's one token that the market's not really bullish about. And I think we have to talk about this token because, to be honest, I was in the ETH ICO. I joined ETH just after the ICO, started buying my ETH at between $6 and $9, have been accumulating all along. Sold a big part of my ETH position for Solana a while back. We spoke about that and we'll talk about that again today. But now when I look at ETH, I mean, just look at this chart. I mean, this chart it's a sight for sore eyes. Just look at this chart. And you know, the worst thing is that ETH just had an ETF approved. And this is the chart of a token that's just had an ETF approved. Sentiment around ETH is really at an all-time low. Just look at it. It's the first time that actually sentiment is negative on ETH. When you look at the ETH BTC chart, so when you compare ETH to Bitcoin on the charts, I mean, it's a dog show. It broke out of this wedge. It's been down, and it just looks like shit. And if you look at the Twitter sentiment around Solana, this is not a bear post or dunk on Solana, but how can Solana holders how can ETH holders be voluntarily enduring so much pain to yield a 2x in the cycle, implying that even if ETH works, you're only getting a 2x. Why would you endure so much pain? ETH's year-to-date performance is half the performance of the S&P. God, this thing might end up like Gateway or Compact, like of the L1s. Garbage. Bad news, ETH is down. Good news, ETH is down. No news, ETH is down. FUD on Twitter, ETH is down. No FUD on Twitter, ETH is down. Market's good, ETH is down. Market's bad, ETH is down. ETH capitulates, ETH is down. ETH up ever so slightly, ETH is down. ETH just goes down. It doesn't, there's so much hate. I hate ETH. What a garbage coin. MIT Review Technology says, if you're so smart, why aren't you rich? Turns out it's because you're holding Ethereum. I mean, ETH is getting killed. Social sentiment is at the worst. Someone even compared ETH to Litecoin or Zcash. He said, anyone still talking about ETH after this week is the same as Litecoin or Zcash. Take that shit to Reddit, bro. It's almost like there's no space to talk about ETH on Twitter anymore. That's how bad ETH is. Someone said, just dumped all my Ethereum. Market bought Solana. People are so frustrated by ETH. So much hate for ETH that they're actually selling Solana. Someone says, the ETH ETF was a complete failure. Good, mission accomplished. Remember when Bitcoin ETF was a failure as well. There's so much, there was so much in there. Why the hell are people buying ETH? Even technical analysis traders, they say, Peter Brandt, who doesn't really care about technology, all he cares about is lines on chart. I don't know if you've ever met Peter, but he says, in the battle between ETH and Sol, it was inevitable that there would be a clear winner. ETH, cumbersome, expensive, flawed, claims to be decentralized when it's not. Sol, user-friendly, great foundation. Sol should gain 100% on ETH in the next months ahead. And what he's showing you is the cup and handle that's been printed over here and basically saying that this is going to happen. We spoke to you about this cup and handle. We told you that this cup and handle would happen. Never seen so much hate on ETH ever in my life. Really never seen so much hate on ETH ever in my life. And I understand. Basically, ETH has had every single bullish catalyst that there could be. It's had VC funding. It's had an ETF approved. And the price of ETH just keeps going down. They made it deflationary. The price of ETH just keeps going down. I want to remind you of something, though. I want to remind you of this chart over here. We made this chart together. This was when I told you that Sol FUD was at its peak. And I circled here and I said, I think Sol FUD is at its peak. And therefore, I think that right now, because the sentiment of Sol is at its peak down, I think what we need to do is we need to actually start buying Solana. And we circled this chart over here. I want to do something exactly the same for ETH. And I want to say that somewhere in this circle is the bottom for the ETH chart. Why? because sentiment tells me, so let's just say peak FUD. So let's just say FUD. Then you guys will remember that we said FUD. FUD. This is a PF. It's like peak FUD. So it's peak FUD. So I know from being here for a long time that when sentiment is at the lowest around the token, if you still believe in the ecosystem, then you should be placing your bids. Now, I'm not a big fan of ETH. I'm a much bigger fan of Solana. We'll discuss Solana in a couple of secs. But I do know that when we are at a point where a protocol that is definitely working has all the headwinds in the world, but we expect the protocol to actually come out of it, that is the time when you should actually be buying. And that's exactly why I think that even though everybody is calling ETH dead, I'm not calling ETH dead. I'm seeing it for what it actually is. For one, let's not forget that boomers, who are the people that now have access to the ETF, don't give a shit about the Twitter sentiment on Ethereum. They don't know Vitalik. All they see it as is they see it as a cheap Bitcoin. The other thing is that, remember, like we have tokens, right? When those tokens list on Binance, they get a pump, right? The reason why they get a pump is because all of a sudden Binance has the biggest user base. And all of a sudden, when you list that token on Binance, a whole lot more users can buy the token. The same thing happens on Ethereum and Bitcoin. If you think about all the users in TradFi and you think about the ETFs as Binance, there's only two tokens that are actually listed on Binance for TradFi. The first one is Bitcoin and the second one is Ethereum. And if they want to put their money anywhere, they've really got two options of where to put their money. If you want exposure to cryptocurrency, you can put your money in Bitcoin and you can put your money on ETH. Now, listen, when a token lists on Binance, regardless of whether it's the best token or not a good token, or when a token lists on Upbit, regardless of whether it's a good token or not a good token, the one thing you know is that the price is going to pump. And that's exactly the thesis for ETH. You can try and convince me as much as you want that ETH is dead. I don't really care whether ETH is dead or not. I know that ETH is listed on the Binance for TradFi, which is the ETFs. And I know that boomers, when they want to invest in cryptocurrency, they've got two options, Bitcoin and ETH. That's it. That's the only two options that they can actually invest in. I also know that BlackRock owns $19 billion worth of Bitcoin and only $500 million worth of ETH, which means that, I don't know, if you can do some basic maths, even if we only get to 30 or 40%, there's still a lot of buying that is going to start happening on ETH. Also, if you look at DeFi, DeFi is completely built on ETH. And in fact, if you look at this tweet over here, when it comes to liquid staking, ETH has 180 protocols. When it comes to lending, ETH has 435 protocols. When it comes to bridging, ETH has 81 protocols. When it comes to DEXs, there's 1,381 protocols that you can trade ETH on. When it comes to restaking, there's 10 protocols. When it comes to real-world assets, there's 63 protocols. Look, the one thing you can't say about this protocol is you can't say that this protocol is dead. In fact, what you can say is that the entire future of finance is being built right now on Ethereum. Like it or not, right now, Ethereum is the leader in the future of finance. And even though the price is not following right now because of certain headwinds that are happening, one of the headwinds that's happening is the fact that there's this Grayscale ETH trust, which had $11 billion worth of ETH and is now selling, and people are exiting. Let's just see if we can, for God's sake, if we can actually get it there. Okay, we can't see the chart over here. The second thing the other second headwind is that yesterday the Chinese government started moving around ETH. And remember, they've got about $2 billion worth of ETH that they can be selling, that they seized in a scam Ponzi case. So reality is that there are some headwinds for ETH. And sentiment for ETH is the lowest that it's ever been. But ETH is not dead. Which means that you should probably be buying ETH. Now, look. If ETH is not that exciting for you, I understand. It's not that exciting for me either. But I know that it is part of a diversified portfolio that you need to have. And so what I do when I want to buy ETH, and I'm going to actually do it right now in front of you guys so that you can see that I always put my money where my mouth is when it comes to these things. I'm just logging in, and I don't want anyone to see my passwords and my 2FAs and all that crap. Okay, so, oh God, not now. Cancel. Go away. Okay, so the best way for me to buy ETH is I buy ETH options. How do I buy ETH options? I go to Deribit, I go to options, I go to 27th of December. By that time, the elections are finished. And I go and look for call options. Now, if I look at call options at a price of $2,600, they cost $400. That is for free. I'm going to take this and I'm going to buy ETH call options. I'm going to buy 100 of them. 100 call options at $411. Mount, let's go. Account doesn't have enough funds for this kind of operation. Okay, can I buy 50? I don't know how much money I've got in this account. Amazing. I've just bought 50 ETH options. Now, what this means is that I've paid $400, and anytime ETH goes over $2,600, I start making money because of the option. So this is, for me, the best way to get exposure to ETH, because you can't get liquidated. You can't get liquidated. You're putting down a little bit of money. I'm putting down $400 for each ETH, and I'm getting all the upside effectively. And that's why, for me, I'm not going to buy actual ETH and lock up my money, but I am going to buy ETH December options. If you want to do the same thing, under the show, where the researcher application form is a Deribit option. Hit that button, sign up to Deribit, and you can actually start trading the options and become a much better trader. You can actually trade them with me. But the main thing is to say that, look, we know when there's peak FUD on an ecosystem, we need to get into the ecosystem if we think the ecosystem is going to survive. There's no way that ETH's going away. And that's why when nobody else is interested and everybody else hates the protocol, we are going in and we are buying. And for those of us who don't want to be buying spot because spot is boring on ETH, we're buying ETH options and we're hoping to make a lot of money on these ETH options. So that is the ETH trade. As I said though, regardless of the ETH trade, I have said before that ETH is not my favorite token of the cycle. And I said this very, very, very early in the cycle. I said my favorite token of the cycle is actually Solana. And I said that a long time ago. I sold the majority of my ETH and I landed up buying Solana. It landed up being one of the best trades that I've ever done. Because the reality is, if you look at that Sol ETH chart, I traded my Sol ETH chart, my ETH to Sol somewhere around here. And now, as you can see, I've obviously made a lot of money on the fact that I've actually switched this. And to be honest, I do think that Solana is the darling child of the cycle. And I've said it from the beginning of the cycles. I said it from $13. I said Solana is much, much, much better technology. Why do you need to have all these side chains and everything else when you can just have one chain that does everything on chain with very fast throughput and very low transaction fees? So for me, that is when I doubled down on my Solana bet. I took the majority of my money out of ETH and I put that money into Sol. And then I reiterated that trade, saying about a month ago, I said to you guys, there is Solana Breakpoint, which is the conference around Solana, which happens in about a month. And we know that every time that we go to a Solana conference, before the Solana conference, the Solana price actually pumps. And so I doubled down on that bet and I said, you got to go all in on Sol now, because Sol is having its breakpoint. And at the breakpoint, we get amazing announcements. Now, we do know that we're going to get an announcement around FireDancer. FireDancer is the new validator client that makes Solana more decentralized and makes Solana a whole lot faster. We're going to get some, and that's going to be big hype. The other thing that's going to happen at the conference is if you are smart enough to look at the speakers, right? So if you look at the speakers, you can see which protocols are actually going to be talking at the Solana Breakpoint conference. If you know the protocols that are going to be talking, you know that those protocols have a higher chance of actually pumping, because what they do is they go there to actually make announcements at the event. So what they do is, it's almost like they do a whole lot of things and they don't announce anything until they go to the Solana event, and then they make a whole lot of announcements. And so generally, what I like to do before these events is I like to look at the ecosystem tokens and see who is actually speaking. Once I understand who is speaking, I say, what is the likelihood that they're going to make an announcement? And then I say, do I actually like the protocol? So if I like the protocol and there is a likelihood that there is going to be an announcement, then I land up actually buying the protocol. So here you can see like Layer 0 Labs is going to be talking. Probably good to speak at Layer 0 Labs. We actually made a spreadsheet. Here's the spreadsheet over here. Are they speaking? So Jupiter, is the founder speaking at Breakpoint? Yes, founders are speaking at Breakpoint. 𝗥𝗓𝗏, not confirmed yet. Drift is speaking. Helium is speaking. Camino is speaking. Save, which is the old Solend, is speaking. Tensor is speaking. Honeyland is speaking. This is like free alpha. Honestly, this is like free alpha. I see the Bitcoin price is dropping. What happened now? What did you guys do? We started the show at 58,000. What did you guys do? Guys, hardest, please, Josh, please stop selling. Please, guys, please stop selling. Let's see, has the NASDAQ turned? Dow's up 0.71%, NASDAQ's up 0.6%, just Bitcoin. Okay, well, we'll carry on and we'll evaluate it after. So one of the free pieces of alpha is, guys, you've got like a month and a half where the Sol ecosystem projects are going to run. And the ones that are going to run the most are the ones that are actually speaking at the Sol conference in Singapore. Now, for the front runners, we're going to be having a banter party for the front runners in Singapore. Make sure that you sign up. We'll drop the Google form today or tomorrow. Make sure that you guys actually sign up for the event, so we can cater for you guys and we can make sure that you guys actually attend that. All right, let's go back to Solana. So, I mean, I'm bullish on Solana to be the darling child of this cycle. I don't think it's a case of whether you should have Sol or ETH. I think it's a case of having Sol and ETH. I would have more exposure to ETH than to Sol than to ETH. And as I said, my ETH exposure is very much around options, but you must have, I think you should have both in your portfolio. And it's not a case of one or the other. It's actually a case of believe it or not, just like you can hold Bitcoin and gold. Now, you wouldn't believe it if you were on Twitter. You can hold Bitcoin and gold. You can hold Solana and ETH as part of a diversified portfolio, okay? I mean, also, if you look at the fundamentals of Solana, honestly, like, the green line is the addresses. The green line is the daily active transactions. Ethereum's down here. All the other ones are down here. You can't really compare. In terms of mindshare, Solana has the highest mindshare it's ever had. The Sol dominance is the highest that it's ever been. There is a Solana spot ETF in Brazil. Not that matters because it's not really going to push the price up, but still, it just shows you Solana is making huge waves fundamentally. The inflows for Solana, $300 million into the ecosystem in the last 8 days. Huge money. A lot of that money came from ETH. The Drift protocol, now partnering with Athena Labs. So you can now use your Athena USD to trade perpetuals while earning Athena type yields, which is huge. That's absolutely huge. So the fundamentals are absolutely amazing. And a lot of people are talking about a $320 Solana. I've taken one of my researchers a bet that Solana does get to its all-time high. When it does get to its all-time high, I don't remember what he has to give me, but he has to give me something. I did mention to you guys yesterday that a lot of people are bridging money from ETH to Sol, right? And they were using this thing called Wormhole. And I said to you guys, why would anyone use Wormhole when you've got something like dBridge? Now, a lot of people said to me, okay, well, what's dBridge? So dBridge is a very quick and very fast and cheap way that you can move money from any platform to any platform in a matter of seconds. And I want to show you just how quickly this happens. So what you can see here, in fact, let's just go to the tweet here and let's just find someone. Here. Hold on, let's find someone here. Yeah, where was that tweet? Let's quickly find that tweet. Let's see, where is that tweet? Have I gone past it? Yeah. Let's see. Okay, here it is. If you're watching my show, you're going to be a legend. So let's find someone who's a legend. Let's say this person here is a legend. Burn and Turn. Let's say Burn and Turn is an absolute legend. I want to show you how easy it is to use dBridge to move money from one app, from one ecosystem to another. So I have a demo wallet. In this demo wallet, I have 0.2 ETH, but they're sitting on the base chain, right? So if I want to move the 0.2 ETH sitting on the main chain, on the base chain, so you can see the money sitting on base chain. So I go base, and so I go to base chain. Okay, cool. Thank you. Hold on, let's just click. Okay. And I want to move 0.1, so 0.1 of my ETH from the base chain, and I want to move it to the Solana chain, and I want the user to receive it in USD on Solana. I click that button over there. Okay. That's effectively what I do. Now let's just see why it is stalling. Okay, now who am I sending it to? Let's quickly just enter Solana address. That's the Solana address that we pulled off. That is the Solana address that you guys dropped. I pressed confirm and trade. It's going to ask me for my password. Where is it going to open the window? That's the question. Hold on, I've got to switch off the thing here because otherwise it can't open my wallet window. Okay. And I'm going to put in the password. Hold on a second. And within 3 to 4 minutes, within 3 to 4 seconds, this user will have $250. Now, there's nowhere else that you can actually do that kind of transaction that quickly. It's impossible. The only place to do is on 𝗪𝗔. If you want to sign up to 𝗪𝗔, just go below over here. And where is our 𝗪𝗔? 𝗪𝗔. Okay, we must add in a 𝗪𝗔 link. Will you ask Amy to add in a 𝗪𝗔 link for us? So that users can actually sign up now and actually use 𝗪𝗔. If you use this, you will actually get points for the 𝗪𝗔 airdrop, which I think is going to be one of the biggest airdrop when it actually happens. And you also support our channel. So make sure that you guys actually go and do that. I think it is one of the best places to do that. So as I said, I think Solana is going to be the darling child of the cycle. I think you need to have both Solana and ETH in your wallet. I don't think that it's Solana or ETH. And I think that right now, the bigger opportunity is actually on ETH and specifically on ETH futures because the sentiment is so badly down against them. And so I think that's really one of the things that you should be looking at right now. The next token that's really up is Telegram, TON. You can see that TON's up 9.63%. No big surprise. It's up because it was listed on Binance, finally, after how long this token has actually finally been listed on Binance. Even though in the old days, listings on Binance were actually like a guaranteed like pump forever, what you're realizing now is that all these tokens have been listed on Binance this year, but most of them, except Jupiter, are down. Now, look, it is a point in time when the whole market is actually down. It is that point in time, but still, it just does show that generally tokens that list on Binance have a pump and actually have a dump. Now, in that spirit, I've taken one of my researchers a bet. Now, you got to understand, he's an Irish guy. He's got very white skin. He's Irish, okay? Versus my beautiful tanned olive skin, right? We took a bet. He said that in January, the price of TON was going to be lower than the price because of this chart over here. I said the price of TON is going to be higher in January. The loser has to stream in a Speedo. Here, now look, it's quite a... That bet is very much skewed in my favor because I already did Andrew Tate. Like I've already shown you guys everything there is to see, even though it's improved a lot because I've been going to gym, I've been drinking protein shakes because that's what I'm doing now. And I've got beautiful olive skin. He's Irish, bro. And he's going to sit here with white Irish skin and we're going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. In January, it's going to be an Irish St. Patrick's Day when he loses the bet. And he's definitely going to lose the bet. There's no doubt he's going to lose the bet. So that's the TON story. One more story I want to talk to you guys about, and that is the XRP story. We finally got resolution in the XRP case. We finally got resolution in the XRP case. The judge ruled that XRP, that Ripple, the security offers trading on exchanges were not a thing, and it gave them $125 million penalty. They paid the $125 million, or they're going to pay it. Remember, the SEC asked for $2 billion, and the court reduced the demand by 94%, according to Brad Garlinghouse, recognizing that they had overplayed their hand. We respect the court's decision and have clarity to continue growing our company. This is a victory for Ripple, the industry, and the rule of law. The SEC's headwinds against the whole of the XRP community are now gone. So it's over. And in celebration of the fact that it's over, the XRP price flying today, 60 cents. A lot of people have phoned me and said to me, now that everything is clear, some people are thinking that XRP may actually go to the moon. And maybe it's a good time to buy. The reality is that even though the SEC headwinds are completely gone, I still think XRP is a piece of shit. And there's no way that I'm going to be buying any XRP tokens. I think that Ripple, which is Theo, come here, Theo, come here. Everyone, I want you to meet Theo.
I look like a hobo.
Theo is our HR manager, and she wants people to
Apply. You get to talk to us.
Theo, you're not watching the show. I've already told them to apply for the job. She's got such a cheek. She doesn't even watch the show, and she comes here and interrupts with signs. Anyway, I wouldn't touch XRP. Why? Because there's no fundamentals there for me. It's a centralized company selling tokens to fund their operations to make their equity holder bigger. I ain't buying XRP. Even though now the SEC is out the way, I don't think that all of a sudden now we're going to get XRP running to the moon. So sorry for the XRP holders. I think the chart's going to remain more or less here, and I think people have moved into much better, much better things. Okay, on that note, I'm going to remind you one last time that you have exactly. Do you want to drive a car like this? Yeah. Do you want to drive a car? I drove a Cybertruck. Holy shit, this thing is probably the most amazing car in the world to drive. Guys, if you want to win one, you are running out of time. I don't know how to explain this to you. You've got 37 days. All you do, you go here, you open an account on Bybit. If you already have an account on Bybit, just keep trading, as long as it's with one of our links. And in 37 days, we're going to give away a Cybertruck. No one's ever given away a Cybertruck like this before. Just do it. Honestly, do it. Go and sign up. What are you waiting for? Don't wait until tomorrow. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, trade well, my friends.